Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Irumba Katsebe, and this is the Spy Television, one-on-one with Hon.Kassiano Wadri. Kassiano Wadri is a former member of parliament for Arua.
First for Terego.
First for Terego.
For 15 years.
Those are 3 terms.
Then to Arua.
Where did you shift from Terego to Arua?
You know, it's a long history. And let me tell you, it is one thing, you know, in Uganda here to be in opposition is not an easy thing. You really have to have the political spine to be in opposition. In 2016, beginning, I think, if not December 2015, President Museveni came to my constituency.
Terego.
Terego. He addressed a rally in a place called Ninia Primary School. Ninia Primary School. Ninia Primary School is around 9 miles away from Arua town. And when he came there, you know, the first thing he did was to say, "Hey, you mean this is Terego?"
Hey, what was he supposed to do?
The constituency of the man who has given me hard time in the parliament for all this long, where there's even no tarmac road here, there's even no electricity. Just help me remove this man. Let me be the MP of Terego for just 2 months.
Who is saying that?
President Museveni, this is on the record.
He wants to be the MP?
He says he should just be given the opportunity of being the MP of Terego for just 2 months. There will be tarmac road.
2 months?
2 months! You know what our voters say?
Somebody can build a road in 2 months.
I'm telling you. And it says there will be electricity.
In 2 months?
And all these things have not been happening because of this man.
You are the problem.
I'm the problem.
Okay.
Please help me vote this man out so that I can have this. And number 2, in the whole of the political history of Uganda, in these 2016 elections, the only constituency where trailers and trailers of horse were delivered was in Terego.
Trailers?
Trailers of horse for digging. And these trailers brought and offloaded the horse at the Ivu sub-county headquarters. And my residence is less than a kilometer from the head office, along the road. When you are in my house, you will be able to see what is happening in the sub-county. That time, the person whom President Museveni used was in Uganda. Yes, Ndugu. And Ndugu went in the company of the former Minister of Finance, Honorable Buchanayende, with whom I served one time in the Agriculture Committee, so we knew each other very well. And the Buchanayende, on coming back, after they had wounded me, when I came back and I asked the Honorable Buchanayende what exactly happened, first of all, I even asked Professor Nira, because Professor Nira and the Honorable Sempija, they were used openly for bribing people to vote me out.
So they
to the extent
they bribed your voters.
Yes, to the extent that even when President Museveni came for the burial of late Colonel Ibrahim Biriga in Rhino camp, you can even access that on YouTube, where he said, "I'm told this man Kassiano Wadri of Terego is here among the mourners." I stood up and flashed him the V side. Then he told the people, "You see that man? You see that man? That man has given me hard time in parliament for 15 years. During the 15 years, I could not even sense the taste of tea. I asked the people of Terego to help him to remove him. They refused. I went even to Muslim Brigadier killing, Barnabas killing. May his soul rest in peace now. That they could not help me remove this man. But finally, I have removed him.
How?
I didn't know that horse can make such a magic.
The horse?
Yes, he said it. I didn't know that horse can make that magic. And he went further to say, people think I'm a bad man. If I was a bad man, I would have killed this man, Kassiano Wadri. It is on YouTube. It is there. This is the 4th time. President Museveni has done that. He said all that to me. Of course, the press were all of us. They were even asking me, what do you make of President Museveni's statement? I told them that now, you people, I came here to bury my brother, the late Ibrahim Abiri. President Museveni is entitled to his opinion about it. And furthermore, I told him, you know what? I'm a Catholic. The Catholic Church, the doctrine of the church is that you don't commit a sin by your actions. You first commit a sin in your heart before you implement the intention. And even in law, there is what we call mensere, the intention to do something. That is the beginning of commissioning of a crime. It is not the final end that because you have done this, that therefore you have done this. So I said, technically, President Museveni has killed me, but God has been kind to me, has not given me into his hands. That's what I responded.
Okay. Now,
on that particular issue.
Okay. Comrade,
So this is how I left Terego. Although right now people ask me to go to Terego, but I said no. I have now left other people in Terego.
Cabinet, the people asking you to go back and rescue them.
Yeah. It's loud and clear. You can ask anybody from Arua. If you have friends in Arua, you ask them.
So are you going
They
back?
are telling me,
Are
nobody after me has ever done what I did for them.
Are you going back?
In terms of, what I did with them, it's a community, churches, mosques. Can I tell you that because I participated in the construction of one of the most magnificent mosques in Terego, at a place called Ufudurwe. Ufudurwe. I was given the name Haji Kasim.
So you're Haji Kasim.
Up to now, when I go there, they call me Haji Kasim. Even in Eru, they just say, hey, this man who built
Haji
the mosque.
Kasim
They call
Kassiano Wadri.
they call
Haji
me
Kasim Kassiano Wadri. Okay.
Not for that. Of course, I will not go back to Terego because I have other people whom I have already lined up in Terego. I will remain in Arua. I will remain in Arua city.
You're coming back 2026.
Oh, I will be on the ballot. God willing. I'll be there.
Arua city.
I will be in Arua city.
But some people, especially those people in the people power who helped you campaign for you, including His Excellency Babu Wayne, who helped you, people died for you in Arua. Yes. People think you betrayed them when you came back to Parliament.
Let me tell you.
People think you betrayed them.
Let me tell you.
Because the grave of Honorable Babu Wayne died in that campaign.
I can tell you this without any fear.
Babu Wayne almost died.
He was not alone. We were all in it.
Yeah, but
so
Babu Wayne was
why don't you now allow me explain?
Please do.
You see, people power is not a political party. It was a slogan that brought on board members of the opposition and the very liberal people of NRM who stood against the lifting of age limit. It was a slogan around which people who detested the move of government to lift the term limit, the age limit, all used as a vessel for, causing a change in the hearts of the people. And it was not only in Arua that we used that slogan. As a group, we went and jointly campaigned for Jema in Bugiri, the Honorable Basali Rasuman. We went together. Those of Honorable Bobby Wine were there, those of Kiza Base, they were there, General Muntu, we were all there, in it together. And I remember even during that campaign in Bugiri, a child was killed with a bullet.
A stray bullet?
What will they say? Will they tell you that they aimed at it, but at least a bullet went through a child and the child died? The Honorable Basali remained in his Jema. He did not change party. Thereafter, we came to Jinja East, and we campaigned for the Honorable Paul Muir.
Who was in FDC?
Who was in FDC. We campaigned for him as FDC. He remained in FDC in that by-election. We went and campaigned for the Honorable Muzanira Nirukungiri.
Muzanira.
Yes. As a team, together with those of Honorable Bobby Wine, Chakulani. And it was a very acrimonious by-election. Many people were beaten, maimed, and imprisoned. The Honorable Muzanira did not leave her party. She remained in FDC. Then it now came to my turn, where I was campaigning in a by-election in Arua Municipality. And in that by-election, I was an independent candidate after having been denied the party card by FDC, my former party, to which I'm a founder member. And I said, okay, if that is the case, let me run as an independent. And in that by-election, I had friends, not only from FDC, but including even NRM, who came up openly to support. There was this man, may his soul rest in peace, Hon.Kassiano, a staunch NRM mobilizer, who will even dress in a yellow suit and will tell people he is NRM. But campaigning for Kassiano. And that for him, it was not about a party, but it was about getting the right people to represent the Arua Municipality in the Parliament. And out of the 12 candidates who contested, he said the most suitable person is Kassiano Wadri. He survived by the hair's whisker. He missed a bullet narrowly. He would have been even killed. In Arua. So, in that campaign, I had people like my friend and the OB, General Museveni. He came to bolster my support, my campaigns. The Honorable General Karuhanga was in Arua. Honorable Muiri was in Arua. The Honorable Mabike Michael was in Arua. The Honorable Sam Mukaku, the one time
Samuel Mukaku,
yes, Lubega, he was in Arua.
Yes,
Sebufu, Honorable Sebufu, the Honorable Councillor, was in Arua. And I had friends from Kenya, sort of from Ginger, who all came. And then I had people like Honorable Joshua Anyorach from Padire, from Nebi. They were all there. I had friends from DP.
So now, my argument
listen,
is,
I'm coming.
And you need to narrow it down.
The issue is, I think I would have made a fool of myself. Because by that time, General Mugisha Muntu and I had traversed this country, asking the opinion of the people about the formation of ANT as a political party. And we had already been given a green light. So I will have, first of all, become a political prostitute. Number two, I'll be unprincipled. To leave my own home just because. And into how many parts was I going to divide? Listen. Into how many parts?
I get your argument.
Into how many parts will I have divided myself? Which part will go to the FDC friends, to the DP friends, the UPC friends, the NRM friends, the ANT friends?
I get you.
And then
Honorable Kassiano,
yes.
The argument here of betrayal.
What betrayal?
I'm coming. I'm coming. It's not really about you crossing from one party to another. The betrayal they sense is that the principles against which you were collectively by all parties supported, once you went into Parliament, you seceded from those principles.
Which principle? Can you tell me the principle that I seceded from? Because I remained a member of the opposition. Where did I go wrong? I remained a member of the opposition. I want to be very candid to you. When did the NUP become as a political party? I think it was cleared by courts of law around 1 week to nomination. And by that time, people had already collected that. What did you expect me to do? To abandon my home? And be waiting for the Messiah to come as it were? No, honestly, you just be in my shoes. What was so special that other people for whom we all campaigned in this joint that I've explained to you were able to be in their own, and they are not even attacked. But
what I've had some noob people.
Yes, there was no noob at that time. There was no noob.
People power.
Yeah,
because power. Now people power finally is what metamorphosed.
It did not people power
into noob.
No, people power never metamorphosed into noob. Noob was bought from the shelf of political parties which were inactive.
Yeah, but
and
the
this,
membership
and this included. This was a party which belonged to this other man, Chibalama.
Moses Chibalama. He's
yes,
my friend. Actually.
Yeah. So if you are to take that angle, you know for a fact that we had people like the Honorable Tingasimire.
No, the argument is that some people in Nup or people power,
Mm.
because you want to insist on that, say they sacrificed for you in Arua in those elections. One of the most chaotic by-elections this country has ever had. People came and shed blood for you. When you won the election.
I want to ask you a question.
This is not me.
No, I'm asking you a question. You are a Katusabe. I believe you're from Toro Kingdom.
Yes.
From that name. And if you are from Toro Kingdom and a friend comes to help you from the kingdom of Busoga, and in the process of them helping you, one of them loses a life. Because somebody who has come to help you has lost a life, are you going to say from now on, I'm no longer a Toro, I'm not going to become a Soga? Are you going to say so logically? No. You remain, but you remain friends. You remain friends.
Oh.
So you remain friends.
Okay, so
but
that's what happened.
You do not have to leave your homestead because somebody has visited you and probably
has died.
You change your tribe. You don't. You remain in your tribe, but you remain friends.
You commiserate with the family.
You commiserate with the family, and that is the reason
so
why.
So are you still commiserating with the Nup family, people power family?
We commiserate with the Nup family, just like I commiserate with any political party in the position. That is the reason why we even have a forum that you know. And I've been very instrumental in causing that forum where the political parties in opposition come together, share ideas, lay strategies for a common cause. You have known of this thing called United Forces for Change. You have learned about it. How did it come into being? Who was the brain worker behind it? Who initiated the meetings? It is the person talking to you now. So that means we are still together. Although we belong to different clans, we belong to different political parties, but we are still together in the struggle.
Hon.Kassiano Wadri, you were in Parliament for now 15 plus. These are the by-election was 2.5 years? Yes. So those are about 17.5 years. Draw for me a picture of a Parliament of Uganda in terms of addressing the issues that affect its people. Draw for me a picture.
Let me tell you, I can even talk about this until when cows come home. The time when I joined Parliament in 2001, Parliament was not as amorphous as it is today.
Today it is amorphous.
I am coming to that. Right now we have got 529 or 557 MPs.
529.
Yeah, 529. That is in itself amorphous. Look at the size of the chambers. The chambers was built for hardly 200 people, to the extent that even the 529 MPs don't know each other. So, the time I came to Parliament, we were very few. And the constituencies were big. A constituency like a Terego, which I represented, Terego geographically is 50 miles across. And I was the MP. Alone. And at that time, the woman MP was for Arua district. Because the village districts, I call them village districts because really I don't see a sense in them. What used to be counties have all become districts now. We had the Koboko, we had the Yumbe, we had the Maracha, we had the Terego, we had the Madio Kolo, we had the Vora, we had the Aivu.
Oh, that was one district?
That was one district, Arua.
So that and the woman MP was one?
Was one.
Now you have every woman MP from every sub-county turned into a district.
Just like you look at Namaingo. Namaingo, when I worked in civil service, Namaingo was a sub-county. In Busoga, in Uganda, it was a sub-county.
Now it's a district.
But now it is a district with 3 MPs, 3 or 4 MPs. I mean, this is why I'm saying the whole thing now is amorphous. Even when you look at Terego itself, which I represented for 15 years, where I was the only MP. Terego now has 3 MPs. Terego West, Terego East, and the woman MP. And I'm even being told somebody is even, contemplating on creating another one for himself because he fears they eat. that will be for another day.
You tell me.
That will be for another day.
Tell me
But
now.
at least I've told you that somebody is it.
Who is that? Honorable Kassiano, I don't
So,
know you. I have never known you as
no,
as
no, no. But
as,
I'm
as
telling
somebody.
you. I'm telling you.
I have never known you as a coward.
I'm not a coward.
I know you as somebody who speaks.
If I locked such a person out of parliament for 15 years, how can I be a coward? I'm a person to reckon with.
So what's the name of that person?
You know the person.
I don't know.
But I've told you, somebody is somewhere trying to create a village into a constituency.
That person has a name. What is the name?
Don't worry, we shall talk about that.
Okay.
So, that's why I'm saying the parliament that we have today is amorphous. Look at the economy of this country. Uganda is a very poor country. Look at the population of this country. By now, Uganda may be having a population of around 48 million. That's
We are 47.
47. A country of 47 million people being represented by 529 MPs. Compare us to Kenya. Compare us to Tanzania. Compare us to the United States of America. United States of America is a population of around 435 million. I think 435. And what are the sizes of the two chambers? The Senate has 100 representatives. I mean, the leaders. House of Representatives has 345. America.
With 400 million
Yes.
people.
Look at Uganda with 47 million people.
Then you compare America with the 400 million.
Yes. And you
plus
see
their GDP.
Correct.
When you look
a
at
poor country like Uganda. Look at India with a population of 1.4 billion people. Look at the two chambers, Lok Sabha and the Raja Sabha. And when you look at this, Lok Sabha, which is the lower house, I think it is around, it hardly has 500. And look at the population of India. Look at the
1.4 billion.
Yeah, look at
with the economy.
With the economy.
Compared with the 47 million.
With the 47 in a poor country, a third world country. So that is the reason why I'm saying I think
the parliament is amorphous.
The parliament is amorphous. Number two,
why it is amorphous?
The parliament is amorphous in the interest of President Museveni. I can say this without any fear.
Point number two that makes parliament amorphous.
Yes, because
how Museveni belongs to the executive.
Yes, it is. It is in his interest that he has such a parliament.
Amorphous parliament.
Amorphous parliament. So that everybody, even when we even go down to breaking it, the 529 MPs in the parliament of Uganda. You look at the four regions. Look at the Western Uganda.
West.
You look at Eastern Uganda. Look at Buganda as a region and look at North.
What's wrong? What's the problem?
And you look at that vis-a-vis the population. Western Uganda has more MPs than the Central region. And yet when you take at the population size, Central region has more people than Western Uganda.
It's the biggest population.
So you ask yourself, why the difference? Why? You just ask yourself why. This is all for political expedience. All for political expedience. Nothing in terms of service delivery. Although President Museveni comes up to say, oh, we were creating these numbers for service. What role does a member of parliament play in a service delivery? Nothing. The only roles of a member of parliament in the constitution are only four.
Number one.
Debating in parliament to legislate laws. Legislature, then the issue of appropriation, budget. Then the third is that of representation, representing your people, and the fourth is the oversight function.
Oversight.
Yes. Other than that, a member of parliament is not going to be like a DEO, is not going to be like a commissioner or an engineer to work on the roads or to drill boreholes. That is not his work.
But that's what we are doing,
no, but
unfortunately.
Look, I will come to that at another point, but that is not the constitutional role of a member of parliament. What actually you see these people trying to do is all trying to copy President Museveni. Actually, President Museveni has vulgarized politics in Uganda. I can say this, and I repeat, President Museveni, with the due respect, has actually made politics in Uganda lose meaning. First of all, President Museveni is fond of bribing victory, buying support through money. The brown envelopes are everywhere. So this business of handouts in order to buy love from the people to get votes is what President Museveni started, and it has spoiled politics in this country. More importantly, for him, these monies that he gives out, the brown envelopes that he gives out, every other time when you see President Museveni on a journey, there are certain things which don't miss his encourage. There is the bullion van there, carrying the brown envelopes. That one is always there. There is the hospital.
Yeah, doing what?
Oh yes,
Going to treat
yeah,
the people.
yeah, yeah. No, he himself.
The people.
There is a whole large contingent of military hardware with the soldiers escorting him. There's even a toilet. Yeah. Haven't you been seeing these things? Am I talking something which is out of the blue? It's all there in the mortgage. So the point I'm making is that all that money is giving out is not out of this proceeds of the sale of his cows from Nabshosh. That is from the public coffers. So he has now misled the people to think that whoever is coming for any elective position must be able to give money, must be able to give material things in order to buy love and the votes. That's where he has spoiled politics.
So he's the one who has made money to be commercial business.
Elections in this country are heavily commercialized.
Cut us off.
President Museveni.
Let's go back to Parliament. Now, do you have any other reason as to why you think Parliament is amorphous? In terms of, according to the Constitution, Parliament is supposed to be a checkpoint for the executive and the other arm of government, judiciary.
Yeah.
It is a Parliament that's supposed to check there.
You see?
Now, how I'm seeing things are going is instead, it is the executive checking Parliament.
You see, you are right.
So now, once the role has changed, Honorable Kassiano, if the primary mandate of your being there is to check Mr. Irumba, now, when time comes and it is Mr. Irumba checking you, is there any other reason as to why?
You see, I want to have a departure. The example you are giving is a wrong one. It is not the executive checking the legislature now. It is Wananchi checking Parliament. You are right. Parliament is supposed to be a watchdog on the executive and the judiciary. And in so carrying out this work, as I told you, the oversight function, how the resources appropriated to these institutions are being used. Parliament should be, it should have clean hands, as it were. There's common saying that if you are coming to the temple of justice, you must come with clean hands.
He who comes to the table of justice
must come with the clean hands. So in the same vein, I would have expected Parliament to have clean hands in carrying out its oversight function.
Does it have that?
But as of now, one thing which I keep telling people, and I've said this several times, and even when I was chairman Public Accounts Committee, which was a serious parliamentary watchdog on matters of accountability, I used to tell my members, majority of whom were from the ruling party, that please, when you come to this meeting room, leave your party and your party colors out there. You will go and wear them and own them after the meeting. But what has brought you here is to perform your constitutional duty and obligation of giving oversight and giving and holding the executive and judiciary accountable for the resources that were appropriated. Taxpayers' money. But today, unfortunately, that has not seemed to be the case. What is now happening, somebody who subscribes to NRM looks at whatever wrong or good is done by NRM, that this is our thing. And there is also, of course, the bullying that they go through. I've friends in NRM, those who try to raise up their heads, only to be truthful to themselves and executing their constitutional duties. When you ask them and say, yeah, when we go there, we are told to toe the party line. When you want to raise up your head, but whatever my party has done is wrong. Unataka kuwa mpingamizi. You're a betrayer. You're a Judas. So it also gives
collective responsibility.
not only that, but it also they also
As a
operate
party.
under threats.
Mm.
So say, but you and don't you know that we made you to come here? Why are you talking like this? So it actually
The likes of
it,
Tinkasimiri.
it makes them lose their self-esteem is wanting to tell the truth. The likes of Honorable Tinkasimire, the likes of Honorable Sech Kubo,
Niwagaba.
Nyakaba is no longer there.
He's in FDC.
He's independent, but in
Independent.
opposition. Those are the people whom I can say have had political spine to stand up and talk for this country, despite the fact that they belong to the ruling party. But they have been truthful to themselves. And to do that, when you are in the NRM, I think you must have the political spine. You must have the courage. And I commend and thank the names that I've mentioned, Honorable Tingasimire and Honorable Sechikubo, for really being steadfast and standing for the truth in as far as. So, Parliament right now, by and large, is not performing its real duty of holding the executive to account, but even they themselves as a parliament. You see, if you want to help a friend who has got a peg in his eye, then you must make sure that you have no log in yours. But otherwise, if you have a log in your eye, how will you see the peg in your friend's eye? So, Parliament.
That's what is happening.
Yeah, Parliament in its so carrying out its constitutional duty of holding the executive and judiciary to account, it must also start with itself. How truthful is it to itself? I have been in this parliament I've been in parliament for 18 years. And in my 18 years stay in that parliament, I have never seen what we are going through as a country. If all these things that I read on papers are what I'm to go by, I think there is a rot in that parliament. I served under Right Honorable Secondly. I served under him for a number of years. I think I served under him for 5 years. I served under the Right Honorable Kadaga for 10 years.
2015.
I served under the late Jacob Olanya for 3 years.
2018.
I've never seen this exposition that I'm now seeing, the exhibition about what is happening in the parliament. At times when I read it like a goat listening to a radio. A goat listening to a radio, does it make any sense? Does the noise make any sense? I very hard to believe.
It is doing like
this.
It's
just doing like this. Yes, it is listening. So at times I ask myself,
so you are always listening like this.
Shaking
your head.
These are things happening in my beloved country called Uganda. But what's still?
You're always listening.
because I can't believe that the institution which is supposed to be a watchdog,
it is being watched
it's
over.
really watched over. So the issue is in matters of accountability, when in matters of carrying out the works of accountability, they will say, who will guard the guard? Who will guard the guard? You are supposed to be the one guiding. But now, if you are there guarding and you are also having problems, who is going to guard
Someone
you?
is supposed to come and guard you, and who is that one?
This is the problem now that I see. Last weekend, His Excellency President Museveni was in Bukede, and the clips are still alive. And he exonerated the speaker. Said the speaker was doing a commendable job. Because first of all,
she's not yet, guilty. How would you say exonerated as
because
as if she's guilty? Is she guilty? Has anybody taken her to?
He was responding to the accusations leveled against her by the media fraternity.
Yeah, of course. Media is not caught.
But he made the reference to the media specifically where you belong. That you people are agents of foreign forces, and they specifically came up to say these are the people who are supporting homosexuality. He said it this point blank.
How can you talk so much on the social media about Anita Mong? How about the ones who are working for foreigners? We are going to expose those traitors.
So, with all this now being aired by number one, first citizen of the country, what do you think will now happen? Even today, people are asking, can the Auditor General sniff? Mwanga, my friend John Mwanga, can he sniff into into
But it's
the
an
accounts.
office of parliament.
It's an office of parliament. And what can he now say after the first citizen of the country said that everything is okay? Because bulk of the money, according to the Saturday news, was that the President Museveni said bulk of the money was used for bringing opposition members to him.
She's very, very active, very hardworking.
Right one and benena kwana noi e bapa isamu chalana akani noi.
She brought me many of the opposition people.
Abu opeda isupu nilu etepe kitosa puganlu punu ebo ya optoma alomu na NRM
to join the movement.
That he said. Yes, I am going to repeat. President Museveni said the money, part of that money was used for bringing opposition members to him. So it means, therefore, national resources were now being directed to breaking political parties in opposition. With this said, I am now not surprised with what is happening in the sister institutions. I'm not surprised with what is happening in NUP. I'm not surprised now what is happening in DP. I'm not surprised with what is happening in UPC, where even a constitutional court pronounces itself to rule a legitimate legal ruling. And it is, instead of implementing it, the person to be evicted is being supported, is being protected by another arm of government, the police. So, it therefore means, yes, our money, instead of being used for addressing the issue of potholes in Kampala, you look at a city like Kampala. Kampala accounts for
Very clean city.
Kampala accounts for around 75% of the taxes, the total taxes in this country, because it is the economic center, economic nerve center of the economy of this country. But look at the roads which are there. Look at the roads, like from here to Uganda, up to Malaba, the lifeline of our foreign trade, the route. We export things through that route, we import things through that route, but you see the type of road we have. So, with all of this said and done, we are not really living up to what we are supposed to be doing. We are now having financial aggrandizement for personal gains and for political gains, and not the welfare of the citizens of this country.
Okay, very, very well. Now, very well put. Let's look at, you know that last week, the president made several changes in his cabinet. And I wanted you to give an overview about that, but also what you make of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba being now the CDF, Chief of Defense Forces.
Yes. Ugandans
woke up to very good news.
Woke up to news of cabinet reshuffle.
Very good news.
Well, that is the mandate of the president under Article 113 of the Constitution as amended. It is within his powers to cause appointment of ministers and also to disappoint them or to reshuffle them. But when you look at the cabinet reshuffle, I don't really consider it as a reshuffle. Because most of the people remain in their same dockets, except for 4 people who were to lose their appointments, who were to lose their ministerial appointments. That is my friend, the Honorable Vincent Sempija from Defense. He has been relegated to being a senior presidential advisor. The Honorable Grace Freedom Kwichwini, the then Minister of State in charge of Northern Uganda. That one now is a senior presidential advisor. We had Dr. Kitutu, the Minister for Commercialized Affairs, has been relieved of her duties. Then the Honorable Nandutu Agnes, the junior minister in that same docket, has been relieved of her duties. And I think those were the only changes. The other change that I can talk about is having General Mbadi be made a junior minister in Ministry of Trade and Industry.
General.
Yeah, he's a general, but he's been made a junior minister, Minister of State. Those are junior ministers. And actually, many times I say, well, they are file carriers. I've repeatedly said this, and I'm not afraid of to say it because
so General Mbadi will become a file carrier.
Absolutely. What is he going to do? Me, who knows how government operates, having been in civil service at a senior level and knowing the politics of this country and knowing what this cabinet, meaning the so-called state ministers do, how they are treated. These are, you
But
cannot even,
Honorable
like,
Kassiano,
I'm
put
telling
some
you,
respect on these officers.
you see,
State minister,
he's a
moreover,
junior.
you can't
He's a-
say you are a file carrier.
What do they do?
Carrying files for
What
who?
do they do?
He's the boss.
Let me tell you, in the Uganda that we are in today, no junior minister or minister of state can even, I can say, have orders to order for the procurement of office PDs. Nothing. Without a recourse. I'm telling you, there are very few ministers of state here who have powers. The rest, there is nothing.
If there are very few now, but is going to be one of those few.
I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to anticipate.
So don't call
I
him
hope.
a
I
file
hope.
carrier.
I mean, I did not say Mbadi as a person. I said all these state ministers. I refer to them as file carriers. Because first of all, look at a country like Uganda. When President Museveni came out with the cabinet reshuffle, this came after government has been considering amalgamating state agencies, because according to government's report, we will be saving 1 trillion shillings every financial year if we merge these agencies. Meaning that because of the hard economic situation that we are in, Uganda now as a country is in a very difficult economic situation, and therefore government has come to realize its real situation, and that is the reason why they want to amalgamate these agencies. In the same vein, I would have expected President Museveni to also be truthful to himself. That look, Uganda, a poor country, small in size compared to others, has 83 men and women called cabinet ministers or ministers. How much do we spend on them? In terms of the guzzlers that they drive, the security attached to them in their workplaces and at their homes, the salaries, then the issue of housing rent, electricity bills, water bills. If you are to factor all of these in summation, how much money will you have saved that you can now be able to direct service delivery to the ordinary person, the Muntu wa Wansi? Have a good road for him. Have his children go to a school where teachers are motivated to teach them. Whether a child is in Karamoja, whether a child is in Kampala, they should all be aiming and be able to go to Makerere University, as was the case during our days. You know, that have drugs in our medical units. That is how I thought President Museveni would have focused. In which case, he would have reduced the number of what? The size of his cabinet. Okay. Look, compare us to Tanzania. Geographical, Uganda enters into Tanzania, I think, around 3 times or more. Tanzania is bigger than us in population. Tanzania has a wider tax base, big economy than us. But Tanzania has 29 ministers. So compare that with us here in Uganda, a poor country with a small population, small geographical area, but with 83 men and women draining the economy, sucking the blood of the poor taxpayer, literally sucking the blood of the poor taxpayer. So I thought President Museveni would have had that in mind. Since he's reducing on the number of agencies, he should have done the same. But I could also see why President Museveni did not actually reshuffle his cabinet, but just recycled them in their positions. He's thinking about 2025, 26 general elections. Yes.
So this cabinet
is what
is a reflection
of what he wants to use in the elections. And
so in the election, he has appointed General Muhoozi.
I'm coming to that. The elevation of General Kainerugaba Muhoozi as the CDF did not in any way surprise anybody. I have a number of people who went to who joined the army same year with General Muhoozi. I have a number who have fought battles in Congo against ADF and who have fought battles in the Central African Republic, in northern Uganda, in Congo against LRA, and who have really tirelessly served in the institution of the institution of defense, in defense of our motherland, Uganda. But many of them are still at the rank of being majors. Majors. Others are lieutenant colonel. I'm coming.
Muhoozi went to Sandhurst.
Why did he go to Sandhurst? Wasn't he first here in Jinja Kimaka? He was first here. What are you talking about? I'm talking these things with evidence. He was first here. He could not.
After here he went there.
He could not march. They lifted him from here and took him to Sandhurst. That is it. The people who were here with the resilience, who stayed here, whom I think were even brighter than him, are still here. They're not generous. I am saying this with confidence because I know what I'm talking about.
Kassiano.
They are not here. General Muhoozi received expedited the promotion. He was stampeded into this one after the other rank.
Because of his abilities.
How many have been even in senior military command
how
courses?
many people did you go to school with? How many have become MPs in your country? You have been MP for 18 years. Did all your hobbies become MPs?
You see, that is...
Because you used to be taught by the same teacher.
No. You see, this exam you are giving is wrong. You can only have water if you are saying, how many of you were in the university, in your classmates, how many of you contested? That will be the same wavelength. But for you to say how many were MPs, how many offered themselves? But the point I'm talking about is that these are people still in the army. They are there. Others have been maimed, others have died. But they died at the lower rank. Others are now even soon to go into retirement at lower rank. Others are frustrated. But because Muhoozi is the son of the president, he has received rapid promotions. So therefore, I was not surprised when he was appointed CDF commander. As if that is not enough. As if that leaving, allow me.
Before you go to another one.
No, it is on the same. Please don't make me lose the flow of the ideas. His appointment was on the 21st of this month. On the 21st of February, President Museveni handed over to General Wadri instruments of amalgamation of the armed forces. Until that date, SFC was run as a separate army outside the provision of UPDF Act. So we were having two parallel armies. There was the UPDF under the command of General Wadri. Then there was the SFC and other auxiliary forces which were under the direct control and the command. Before when he was the commander of SFC, General Muhoozi, they were under his direct control. So meaning that even General Wadri had no control even over a corporal in the SFC because that was a separate army. And I'm quite sure President Museveni must have realized that if he allowed these two institutions to go parallel as they are, the situation in Sudan will even emerge here, where UPDF will take arms against SFC, SFC will take arms against UPDF. So I'm happy. I thank him for realizing that early enough and making sure that we have one army.
I'm thanking
Museveni.
You are thanking him, but now
I'm thanking him for that.
Okay, first hold on.
I'm thanking him for that.
Okay.
But before I let go, he did that purposely, knowing very well that in his mind he was going to give command to his son.
So
because
in other words,
you see, if he had, for example, merged command, when now
and left him in charge,
and left and if he didn't merge command, or he merged command when now Muhoozi was already the CDF. Somebody
without
said,
the control of
somebody said, he's amalgamating all these controls because of his son. But now he has a way out. We say, but I amalgamated all these things when my son was not the one in charge. When Mbadi was the one in charge. The amalgamation gave powers to the institution of the CDF.
No, actually,
so you can see how he's playing on people's psychology.
But the other point is that he could have amalgamated all the forces together during the terms of Mbadi, so that by the time Muhoozi takes over, he's in control of all the army.
But this is exactly what I'm saying.
So it means Mbadi was also used to first do the donkey work, bring all the armies together, put them together under one document. After that, hand over.
I sympathize with the General Party, a man who loves this country, a man who has really given his whole self in the defense of this country. I sympathize with him. But more importantly, now
your brother,
I think
you sympathize with him,
he's now a happy man.
As you
he's now a happy man.
They also sympathize with your brother.
Who?
Your brother who commanded Kasese.
Oh, yes, General Elwelu. Elwelu, you know.
You sympathize with him more.
The two could not work together. I think President Museveni is very calculated.
President Badi comes from Kasese.
Badi is from Kasese.
And this is where commanding
from the east. He was from the east, taken to command.
Commanding Kasese.
And then not only that, you also know of.
And you killed his brother.
Yeah, that's true. But you also need to know and appreciate why General Elwelu has now been appointed a senior presidential advisor and not a deputy CDF under General Mohozi. You remember? Which year was it? Was it last year? Or it was, I think it should have been last year or the other year. His Excellency Museveni was in Kigali, Rwanda. And the General Mbadi was in Nairobi, where the East African
standby force.
They were planning to send the East African standby force to Congo. Uhuru Kenyatta, they were supposed to go. Yes, they were supposed to go to be sent to Congo. And that therefore meant that the only person in charge of command here was the deputy CDF. And you remember the controversial movement of troops when he issued the order of standby class 1. You remember that? You remember that? Where somebody was not happy about that order. And
standby class 1.
And I'm also reliably informed after the president's coming back, when there was the meeting held in Ntungam to try to iron us. One person is quoted saying, "We can only now meet with you in heaven." So that therefore gives me the impression.
But Kassiano, you have become a coward. Nowadays you are talking in the parables. Mention that one. So Kassiano, you have been a very hard guy.
So
when it comes to honor, you one guy. So
these two people could not be in the same institution again now to say you are the boss and the other is there.
Yet they're supposed to be in the heaven.
Yes. So that I've made it very clear. You know the people I'm talking about. So with such a statement, they could not work together. So
they will meet in heaven.
They will meet in heaven. I don't know when that will be. That is forgotten. I don't know whether they will reach there in heaven. With all that they have done to us here in Uganda on earth, I don't know whether they will really reach there. Well, so that is now for.
Will they reach there?
I don't know. I'm not a God to condemn them. Neither am I God to absolve them from the iniquities. So that is the thing that is. And not only that, more importantly, I think President Museveni is trying to drum into our ears what the Honorable General Tinyefuza,
David,
my very good friend,
Sejusa. The man who doesn't regret.
Sejusa. The man who doesn't.
He has regretted.
No, I don't think so. David is still the same.
So, man has gone back into oblivion.
So
you
remember
something.
You remember. No, he still talks. I've seen his clips of even this year. 2024.
But I'm told he was given something.
Well, I don't have evidence, so I can't tell you. Since you're from the spy news, you might have been spying there and you have the information. So
gratuity.
No, gratuity is something which any other civil servant who has worked must be given.
Yeah, that's what the law says. But here in Uganda,
just like
even if the law says Kassiano get this. Sometimes you may not get it.
You see,
unless somebody says okay.
Yeah, that's true. We have got a pseudo God.
Actually, they had to go and kneel before him for him to accept.
I know there is a pseudo God in this country, but just like to say, even in the Bible, it is clearly written: he who has worked, the wages must be paid promptly, and who has not worked should not eat.
Not even eat.
So, since David had worked, I think he deserves this gratuity. But the point I'm trying to bring forward is that he prophesied in his work as a chief of military intelligence that time. Remember when he came up with the news that there was a Muhozi project, and you know, certain Ugandans could not believe, and it led him into self-exile in the UK for some time.
Was it UK, US?
Yeah, it was in UK. It was in UK. It was in UK because he used to even be hosted on BBC. It was in UK. So, whatever he submitted and discovered in the course of his work as a chief military intelligence officer has come to light. Even the blind can now see.
Or they can at least smell.
The blind can now see. I'm sure.
When they are blind,
they can now see. So when I say
and you know, and one thing I have to
when I say what the blind can now see,
his utterances about that project led to some of us into bigger troubles. At that time, I was working in Red Pepper.
Yes,
they closed Red Pepper and Daily Monitor. They closed that.
I know.
And we spent some months jobless on the streets.
And you see, that is all the powers that be. Otherwise, whatever he revealed was not a lie. We have now seen that. We have now proved it. So President Museveni,
because we wrote the truth.
Yeah.
They should pay us.
President Museveni is now actualizing that discovery by General David Tenyefoza Sejusa. That such a thing is in the plan. And more importantly, even it reminds me, you know, in the 7th Parliament, we had a day-long debate on a document which were minutes of a meeting held in Nabushoshi. Yes. It is the 50 years Basita rule. That was the topic. And the list of attendees were all there. Some of them were in the Parliament even when that paper was brought. And it is an official record of Parliament. Oh, yes. 7th Parliament. I remember the person.
What was the title?
The person who introduced that debate was the Honorable Dr. Frank Nabisho.
Frank Nabisho.
Yes. You can go to Parliament. You can ask for the answer.
What was the headline?
50 years Basita rule. A meeting which was held in Rwakitura. And President Museveni was in attendance, according to the document. There were many people who were mentioned in attendance.
And what were they discussing? Partly, if you can remember some.
I can.
Some of the things that.
Oh, yes, because as I said, this is something which you will find on the official record of Parliament.
What is it they were talking about?
One of the things
they were talking about opening more schools for the children.
The issue was that in order to make sure that the Basita rule Uganda for 50 years, which I'm now beginning to see is coming into fruition because of Forte is now gone.
When was that comes in,
yes, was that the children must be sent to school. Let me tell you, the Bahima, with due respect, have just been educationally liberated by President Museveni. As a nomadic society, there was nothing. I remember the few that we were together with in the university, we will never even go home on the holidays. Because when we used to ask them, why don't you go home? Since that time, the university used to give transport money. It's not like today where you find people suffering. The university used to give transport money. During the ministry regime, 79, 80. 78 is when I joined the university, and we used to be given transport money every time to take you back home and to bring you back to the university. So I will ask my friends, say, why aren't you going home? Say, but we go home and stay where? We stay in a tent, the whole family, mother, father, children, brothers, sisters, were all there.
In one tent.
In one tent. That nomadic life. President Museveni has liberated the Bahima from that nomadic culture. And indeed true. Today, many Bahima have gone to school. They have read, they have got 1, 2, 3 degrees.
Because of the other agenda of the Basita.
Yeah, they were fulfilling it. They said they must go into the army. It's there in that document.
That is the number 2.
Yeah, go join the army.
Part of the strategy. Yeah.
Join the army and the police.
Education, join the
army and the police, security forces.
To do what?
To guarantee
the other project.
The other project.
Okay.
And today you can even see, I can say this without any fear of correction. Look at the number of DPCs from that region. How many are there? Look at the army commanders. Brigade, battalion. Just scan through. That is all in the fulfillment.
Now you're promoting sectarianism.
No, I'm not promoting sectarianism. I am just telling you the truth, which answers.
You're speaking facts.
I'm speaking facts, and I mean, You see, it's not about sectarianism. If I say President Museveni is the president and the wife is the minister for education, the brother is a senior presidential advisor and in charge of
Operation Wealth Creation.
Operation Wealth Creation, the son is the CDF, the son in Loro Abogo is the one in charge of promoting coffee export. And if I say this is not sectarianism,
You're just being factual.
Being factual, telling the truth.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
But that factual may look a bit
No,
sectarian.
so but these are facts.
I have to be careful.
In as far as I'm
the facts might sound sectarian.
You
you should be
you see, to be sectarian is as if I'm just causing something. I'm not causing anything. I'm just laying bare the facts. I'm just laying them bare. And these are things which they debated in that meeting, which I said you can find details.
But this meeting was held. Which year was this debate?
You can easily get this thing from Parliament. Just go to Parliament. The things are there. That they must get involved in business, build wealth, and we have seen. So today, even in employment, joining civil service today, if somebody comes up and says it's Western Uganda monopolizing in civil service top positions, I said no. They may be monopolizing, but they are there on merit because they've got the papers now. They have the papers. So if, for example, people have been invited for an interview, if you get 100 people for an interview for one job, and the job specifications are laid down, and the requirements, believe you me, 90% of the people who have the qualifications will come from Western Uganda. Are you going to say, if the job goes to one of them, are you going to say they are being unfair? No. Because the probability, they have qualified. Yes. The probability of the 20% getting the job is very slim. So this is how they have strategized themselves in the fulfillment of the resolution of that meeting, which I say is not a secret. It's a public document because it was debated in Parliament. It is on official records of Parliament. So with all this, I can now see President Museveni strategizing himself in fulfilling the resolution of that meeting, the 50 years, and also making the army very relevant in this transition exercise. Of course, I've also heard General Muhoozi saying that, talking ill of his father's party, NRM, that the corruption, he's going to fight corruption, this and that. I said, wait a bit. General Muhoozi is going to fight corruption?
Yes.
But what is corruption by definition? Corruption by definition, in a simple terms, is usage of public resources for your personal gain. Over the last 2 years, we have seen General Muhoozi traversing the country, celebrating his birthday parties. In my simple understanding, a birthday party is usually celebrated once a year, and he only commemorates the day when you were born. But I don't know how many times Muhoozi was born, because in a year he has held these parties everywhere.
No, but if he has, even if he decided to celebrate every day,
I am saying,
does he have? I am coming. Does he have access to your public funds that he's using? You would now say,
my brother, I'm coming. You see, the problem is you are ahead of me.
Celebrating his birthday 100 times.
You see. I'm coming. I am coming to that.
Do you have evidence that this man is using? I am
coming to that. What is the salary of General Muhoozi as a 4-star general? When he is celebrating his birthday parties, like when he was in Jinja, where he said all the drunkards must come, which was a demeaning invitation. If actually the people say, invite me, even if I love drinking so much, should you invite me that way? Look at the mortgage that he goes with. The military mortgage.
What I have understood.
Listen. Is that military mortgage being sponsored by his only the food, the drinks?
Let me help you, Honorable Kassiano.
Yes.
The good thing is that I am very close to some of his networks inside.
One of them
is Honorable, now the minister.
Balamu.
Balamu is a very rich man. But also Muhoozi, as a son, over time a son of the president, has attracted many wealthy friends both inside Uganda and outside Uganda. Muhoozi has a very big network of wealthy people. And his
so
father,
the military hardware is really donated by the wealthy friends.
No, let's
the military hardware that escorts him, that move with him, are those also donations by his so-called the fuel inside there, and the escorts and the food and the drink.
Yeah, they are being facilitated by those networks.
The vehicles are being given by those.
No, not the vehicle, the fuel.
But even if the fuel, but
those vehicles, the
wear and tear in the military hardware is more costly than just the fuel. So that's the point I'm making. So if he's talking about fighting corruption, he should start with himself. Was whatever he's doing not an act of corruption? Number two, today he now says it's going to be ABC. We want General Muhoozi now to live to the appointment. If you look at Article, is it Article 128? I forget it. Which clearly stipulates the relationship between the UPDF and the population. That the UPDF must be professional, disciplined, and be subject to civilian authority, subdue themselves to civilian authority. Now, here is my younger brother, it's a Uganda, aged now I think 50 years, who has been traversing this country on birthday parties, on MK project, and PLU, which now is commonly known as Pilau.
I don't vulgarize somebody.
But this is what is now coming.
PLU.
I said the PLU, which is now commonly known by the public and even in the media, houses as a Pilau. What is a Pilau? Pilau is rice cooked and served with the...
Pilau, there must be an eye. There is no eye there. So don't vulgarize
it. It's not me.
You're called Hon.Kassiano Wadri. If somebody came and called you something next to that,
no. All I'm saying is, if somebody called me, I'm a goon, and then you came and say, Kassiano, who is not being called a goon, are you the one calling me a goon? No, you are making a reference. It's like when you are writing a book, you are citing an authority. When you cite an authority, you are not the brain work behind that authority that you have cited. The author and the person who has written it is different. So that's the more reason why I'm saying PLU, which now in many social media circles is now being referred to as Pilau. That's why I'm making the reference. It is not me.
Why are you insisting on that? Okay, let's go ahead.
So the point I'm making now is he has now got a challenge. One, to be professional and work under UPDF Act and the Constitution of this country, which does not allow serving military officers in uniform to participate in partisan politics. That is the law. So he must now prove to us that he is a law-abiding. That is what I now expect out of General Muhoozi. Now that you are at the helm of administration, you are the one now to discipline people who are errants. Well, now you are here.
So should he close down the PLOU? Because he has said it's a pressure movement, it's not a political party. So should he close it down?
You see, a pressure movement, a pressure movement, like a while ago we were talking about People Power, which was a pressure group also. It was a political pressure group. If PLU is a political pressure group coming up with...
It's not mobilizing itself to go and cultivate tomatoes.
Yeah, it is cultivating.
It is mobilizing for a political...
For pelting itself into a political leadership position. So, the English say, well, how will you get to know whether this is a duck? How it hawks? You know, how does it move?
This one is going to be a duck.
This is a duck. It's not a dove. So, in the same way, that's why I'm now saying the task and the challenge is in his hands. To prove to Ugandans that he is law-abiding, he is at the helm of leadership of UPDF as the commander-in-chief, and that he must lead.
Actually, he has been given that responsibility of CDF to effect the law.
Absolutely. To effect the law.
How can you effect the law when
he himself is breaking it? Now, if it's like the common saying among the Africans, if you are a man or a mother and you're a thief, you go to steal with a baby at your back. Every other time you're going on a stealing mission, the child is
baby is
at your back.
watching.
The baby is watching. So in this particular
How will
case,
you blame that
how
child
will you
tomorrow?
blame the child? So in this particular case, we are now saying, General Muhozi, you are there. You are now here. Lead us with examples and by examples.
Okay, finally, Honorable Kassiano Wadri, I want your 4 cents or 2 cents on the Hulabalu in opposition, especially Nup Party. We could end with that. What do you have to make of that? The Mpuga Babwen Dibako. Who is right, who is wrong, Honorable Kassiano? That should be our last.
You see, I don't want you to just zero me and want me to have, a tunnel vision of issues that affect and involve the political parties in the opposition. A while ago, I told you that when President Museveni was in Bukedea last weekend, having thanked the Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Speaker, he said, yes, that vote on social corporate responsibility was doing a good job because part of it was used to bring the members of opposition to him. That President Museveni said on Saturday in Bukedea. And therefore, it is not only unique to NUP, that external hands of government, external forces, have really dipped their hands to destabilize political parties in opposition. We have seen this happen in UPC. We have seen this happen in DP. We have now seen this happen in the NUP. And I'm quite sure even other political parties, if they don't safeguard themselves, may also fall victims to this same arrangement. So, with all this said and done, political parties in opposition work together in unison to address the plight of Ugandans, giving them hope that there will be a change, a better, positive change. And therefore, we want to equate this with the biblical statement of looking at the human body as being one and holistic. That if the one and holistic human body has a problem with the ear, there is a wound in the ear, the whole body feels the pain. If you have a problem on your foot, the whole body gets sick. Any of your organs, once it is infected by disease, it affects the whole body. So whatever happens in one political party in opposition affects all of us. It affects us. We all get concerned. We are not like the Africans saying that, we are like the Africans saying that when you are co-wives and your husband said today evening picks a stick to beat your co-wife, don't celebrate.
Tomorrow that stick will
actually, that is stick, if it is around there, but you should destroy it because tomorrow it will be used against you. So whatever is happening in this internal management concerns of the political parties in opposition affects all of us. We are all sympathetic to the situation. My appeal to my brothers and sisters in the parties in opposition that have been infiltrated with this external hand is that I appeal to them to use their. But President Museveni on Saturday has made it very clear that part of his money was used for bringing the opposition members to him. Didn't you hear? I mean, today is just Wednesday. Not even a week ago, when he said it in Bukedea, you have got the recordings. Well, why, my brother, Irumba, what is wrong with you? You know these things are written boldly on the wall, and that's why I'm able to say it without fear of contradiction, because this is a fresh thing. So, I appeal to them, just like any other family. If you have a problem with your wife, God forbid, if you, the husband, you are bedwetting, and your wife knows that that's your problem, do not allow your wife to come on there to announce it on the house tops. That, oh, you see this man here, the man urinates in the bed, oh, this man here is a drunkard. Oh. Get that internal mechanism. Say, hey, my father, what's happening? Is it that you overdrink and therefore you can't control yourself to wake up to go to the washing room? I'm talking about the problem. Yes.
Handle their issues
amicably as an institution so that they don't. You see, when a snake enters into a pot, you have to be very, very careful
not to break the pot as you want
Yes,
for the snake.
yeah. Yes,
Because you can aim at
you can aim at beating the snake, killing the snake,
pot
then
breaks.
the pot breaks. We should make sure the pot is kept safe because we need it for our water. So, in which case, we need the unity in that party, like unity in another party. That's my concern.
Okay.
I'm not here to judge who is wrong, who is right, but as human beings, we make mistakes. If ever there is a mistake, then you come and atone for your mistakes.
By the way,
For us as Catholics, when you have sinned, you must atone for your sins. Mea culpa, mea maxima.
Mea maxima culpa. Which language is that?
That's Latin.
Latin.
Yes.
Mea culpa.
Mea culpa. Mea culpa.
Gunsinze dala.
That's right.
Gunsinze.
Yes. You atone for your sins.
In electoral, they say Gunsingire Kim.
For us in Lugara, we say Yes, you atone for your sins. So I will expect that the political parties in opposition with their members must be as a candidate as that.
Okay.
So that we look at the bigger picture rather than...
Your point is taken, Honorable. Now, in that very context, Honorable, the contention between Honorable Bob Wayne and the Honorable Martha Sipuga emanates from the 500 million Akasimo. You were once a leader of opposition and
I was opposition chief whip. And when my senior brother, Professor Latigo, was indisposed through an accident, yes, I combined the two. I took over. I was acting. I remember. For all that. Now,
did you ever come across such monies as a Kasimo?
No. Let me tell you, when Honorable Latigo and I started the office of the opposition in the parliament, I was the opposition chief for 5 years. And the Honorable Latigo's term ran also for 5 years as a leader of opposition. Now, when we started that office, it was a bare office, hardly with a piece of paper to write on. I remember the number of times I would walk over to the office of the clerk of parliament, my friend Ananias Tanakure, and he used to call me my fellow bureaucrat, because I'd been in senior civil service by the time I came to parliament. So I knew the processes, how government offices are run. I would walk to him and say, I will come to you. I remember as the opposition chief whip, it was me who used to write all the alternative policy documents for all the ministries in the opposition. It was me. Because the members who had come there had no experience whatsoever. But using my civil service experience, because we were the ones writing these policy documents for the ministry, I used my experience. I would give us the sketch, saying, this is this, go and now get the figures to fill here, the facts. Go and get the facts and fill it here. So while we were doing all of that, we did not even have things like vehicles. I remember the vehicle was given to the Honorable Latigo after some time, when he was given a vehicle. And I stayed without a vehicle, even for some time before. I was given a double cabin pickup. Yeah. Oh yes, I must tell you. The point I'm making is that we started on a rough, bare, empty office. There was not, and we did not even have support staff the way it is today. I remember I had the secretary, the Honorable Latigo had the secretary, and then we had one personal assistant helping us. He's not, I think, a principal research officer, and that is Andrew Kalinyaki, you know. So we started it rough. But today, as I talk, and for any of those other people who took office from us, they now have lead cards, which was not there during our time. There was nothing.
By the way, they even give them new cards.
Yeah.
So for you, when you were in that office, your LPship card is what you use.
Yes, until I think the 4th year, when my office was given a double cabin Nissan hardy body pickup, and I used it and left it there.
Still,
I don't know what I mean. I'm not responsible boarding off of their vehicles. But if it was an ordinary person like me, a poor man, it will still be there because the vehicle that I drive, that vehicle which you see me drive, is over 10 years. So I would have expected it to be still there. So that was the situation we were in. Now, the point I'm making is that even today, when you go to the office of the leader of the opposition, there are around 20 support staff now employed. You know, the leader of the opposition no longer writes a response to the State of Nation address. During our time, the Honorable Latiko will sit down and write.
Put a response.
No, yeah, passionately.
writing.
He will only share it with me, say, can we, what is your input? What do we put here? Two of us only. The whole thing was he will write it himself on his computer. And he will send it to me, saying, go through it, add a few things if you can. What is this one here? Then we will agree. Yes, this is the position. Today, the shadow ministers in opposition don't write the alternative policy documents. They now have consultants and staff who write it for them. Their work is to present. Unlike during my time. During my time, I had to give it a sketch. And then after they have written it, they bring it back to me for me to go through meticulously as if I was, reading for exams. That's what the situation was. So things have generally changed. Now, when it now comes to, of course, there are now, as I said, there are now a lot of benefits given to those offices. But any benefit given to that office must be under the Administration of Parliament Act. And it must therefore be voted under the Parliamentary Commission of Uganda, which is responsible for the welfare of the members of Parliament and the staff, and even for recruitment of staff. That is what should have. And of course, when things come now like as entitlement, like you see, former presidents have got entitlements, former speakers have got entitlements, former prime ministers have got entitlements. Those entitlements are supported by an act of parliament. The whole thing is brought by the line ministry, it is brought to parliament, parliament debates it, and the parliament pronounces itself on it. That is the reason why late last year, I think, people saw the former speakers being given brand new cars. You remember? And of course, the public complained. The complaint of the public, in as far as I'm concerned, will not have held water in law because the whole thing was lawful. But their complaint was justified in the sense of the urgency to give it now that we are in this hard economic situation, the hard economic situation we are in. Because was this the right time to give
already a car, they are adding you another car. But there is a person missing Panado.
Correct.
In the government
So
hospital.
that's why I'm saying the timing was something for which the public was right to complain. And even me, who understood that law, I complained too. I said, but really, was this the most urgent thing that we should be thinking of?
Okay.
So in a similar way,
as you wind up,
as I wind up, if there was any entitlement, then it cannot be personal to hold. It has to be institutionalized. You get me? It should be for the institution. It should come through a proper motion in the parliament so that the institution of parliament knows. But I think this is where the issue of corruption and abuse of power, and under the Leadership Act, you cannot sit down to decide in your favor. That under the Leadership Act.
So Honorable Mpuga sat in a meeting to take decisions that would favor him.
Yes, inclusive.
At least if we had made the decisions that would favor the next one, that maybe would say, okay, it is not about him.
Or even if they had mooted that idea and brought it
to the floor
of parliament for parliament to debate
then
it, then the parliament approves it.
It goes on the minute.
It goes in the Hansard.
On the Hansard.
Then it will be. I have read those minutes. I've had the benefit of reading those minutes of the Parliamentary Commission meeting where that decision was taken. I think that's where an error was made. An error was made. Man is sweet. And
man is sweet.
The accusation now at my friend the Honorable Mpuga is because he was at the center because he was the one supposed to champion the issue of accountability and putting government to account for the use of resources.
Now, the same thing
public
is the one now
public is now
discussing.
saying, the public is now saying, but you have now gone there instead of fighting for us as the public.
Instead of being on our side, you are on their side.
You have joined them. That is the reason why the whole accusation is going at my friend, the Honorable Mpuga. People like Serwani.
Serwani, yes.
Serwani is not being talked about. Foiro Vuzombo. Then my other sister from Western Uganda, they are not being mentioned. They all fight now. Mpuga.
Why? Because we sent you as our soldier there.
Correct.
You have reached there.
You have
guns
against it. That is the reason.
Your point is taken,
yes.
Honorable. Finally, the very final one, and use about at least a minute. Honorable Kassiano. You belong to ANT.
Yes.
What's your role in ANT?
In ANT, I'm in charge of mobilization.
Mobilization.
Yes.
For our entire debate here, you have shown that there is a big problem in the administration of the affairs of Uganda.
True.
You as ANT, you are an alternative government. You may not be the official opposition party,
yes,
the main party,
but we must
but
make a
you also belong to the alternative government. You have shown me the appointments of the president of the cabinet, the current cabinet, is in response to 2016. You have strategically shown me that actually
the change in leadership,
he has actually realigned his cabinet in respect to 2026. He has realigned his armies.
Yes.
Appointing his son CDF General in respect to what he anticipates 2026. You have it now. Now you have a picture of what you are going to face in 2026. Here comes my question, Honorable Kassiano.
Yes.
Because most times the opposition identifies the problem, fails at prescribing the medicine.
Yes.
What is it that ANT is doing on ground to counter what President Museveni is building for you people?
You say, as I said earlier on, I'm going to defy your plea that I only spend 1 minute.
Please use 1 minute.
I'm a politician and I'm a very verbose in expressing things. You know, let me tell you, ANT, like any other political party in the opposition, have had a squeezed political environment. The squeeze on us was through an act of parliament. Public Order Management Act, POMA. I was in parliament when that obnoxious law was pushed down our throats. And at that time, my friend...
It was engineered by Mama Mbabazi.
my friend, the engineer, my friend, Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi.
The Prime Minister then.
Was the Prime Minister.
Very powerful. I think he's the most powerful Prime Minister Uganda has ever had.
I think so. He was only deflated when he disagreed with his
master.
His master, the one who appointed him and the one with whom he was together in the bush, as he was in the external wing raising funds. During the debate, it is on the record, as I say, you can even go and check it. I rose up on Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi. I said, my brother, Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi, when we are making laws, we must be always very careful about tomorrow. Politically, in this country, there was a man who was a minister and he was as overzealous as you are today when he brought another obnoxious law. And that was detention without trial bill. And who was this person? The late Grace Bingira, the Minister for Internal Affairs. Unfortunately for him, when this law came into operation, he was the first victim of his own law.
He was arrested?
He was arrested. And then he tried to appeal to President Obote. Obote said, but my brother, this is your own law. So I told the Right Honorable Mama Mbabazi, I said, my brother, I hope you're not going to be a victim of your
own
law, the way Grace Bingira
Grace Bingira was in which government?
Obote one.
Obote one.
When I said this, immediately this law was enacted and ascended to by the president. Museveni fell out with Mama Mbabazi fell out with the Museveni. He was stripped of his title as Secretary General. He was stripped of his position as a Prime Minister. He became a commoner like me.
No, like me. You are powerful.
No, a commoner like me. And he now had the idea of also now running out in the political space in the high tides like we are in. And I remember that a very fateful day, he decided to go or to promote his program, his program then of Go Forward.
Go Forward.
He attempted to go to Jinja.
He was curtailed
And
at
the Nile Bridge, the late Kawesi was there. Andrew Kawesi was there.
AIGP.
AIGP.
Huh?
Arrested.
You were under arrest.
They was brought through Kayunga and brought him to Kamocha here. Kira Road Police Station. I was in Najana Kumbi, because that time I was the Deputy Secretary General in charge of administration in the FDC. And my friend, OB, General Mugisha Muntu, was the party president. As I went to him, I said, OB, my friend is already in Nani. People started ringing me, say, oh, you man, you cast this man, Amama Babas is in. I say, you know what? In Africa here, you can know when it is going to rain. When the clouds blow from one direction to the other, you say, this one will rain. If they blow in the opposite direction, you say, it will not rain. So I knew it would be a victim. So the two of us decided to come and visit
Amama
Babas. You know, Amama Babas, again, it's a matter of history also. On the floor of the house, one time he referred to me as a Congolese. Then I went bare knuckles.
Bare knuckles. You know you.
And I told him, I said, right.
But
the honorable Olanya
Arua and Congo.
The right honorable late Olanya was the one in the chair. He was the deputy speaker then. When Amama Babas referred to me as a Congolese, this is all on the Hansard. I put Amama Babas on order. I said I know for a fact and reliably also got information that the Right Honorable Super Minister of President Museveni is a lawyer by profession. And those days to do law, history was an integral part and a component that you must have studied in order to go for law. And I believe you studied history and you know the history of the Luo migration. The Luo migrated along the Nile from the north up to their present place of stay. And the people of Terego, whom I represent in this parliament, are Luo by origin. They are Luo by origin, and that when I became the first office messenger of Joseph Kony to bring the letters for the first peace talks between President Museveni's government and Joseph Kony, I was the office messenger who brought the 4 letters. And what saved me was this historical relationship.
Yes. You are once a messenger for Joseph Kony?
Yes, 1993.
So where were you meeting Joseph Kony?
No, I was on duty. I was on government duty. I was on duty.
Government assigned you?
Yeah, as a civil servant. I was on duty. And I landed into their ambush. They picked me from Tero in Gulu. They took me to Palaro. And the questions I went through, what saved me was my black skin and the historical fact that I'm from Terego. And that the people of Terego originate from Acholi. So when finally they asked me, when I talk wapi, where umejaliwa wapi? I said, nimezaliwa Terego. When ndio mtoto yote mnalipotea jamani, unajua hiyo history. The Luo accent now. In Kiswahili say, hey, you are our son who disappeared long ago. Do you know this? I said, yes, I know this history.
The Kony rebels?
Yes. I said,
captured you?
Yes. I said, our founding father came from Acholi, and the exact place is in Omoro County. Upon that, I was given water in a green mug to drink. And as per the Luo culture, once somebody has already eaten food from your hands or has drunk something, that becomes part of you. You can now kill. I now breathed a sigh of relief.
The moment they gave you water?
The moment they gave me water, I now knew I was safe.
You are part of them now?
I'm now part of them. Because I went to school there, and those days when I was there, the Acholis used to call me, hey, Latini Pacholi, hey, Latini Pacholi, a child of Acholi, child of Acholi. I was in Lacho Seminary. I moved to all those places with my rector, the late Matthew. So, from there, having stayed with them, they gave me 4 letters. One letter was addressed to the Honorable Betty Bigombe, who was the resident minister in northern Uganda. The other one was Colonel Waswa, who was the brigade commander. The other one was Captain Kabula, who was the DES, district executive secretaries, who are now being called cows, chief of district officers. They were called DESs by 93. Then the fourth letter was given to the chairman LC5, Lanek, the late Lanek now. Even I brought this all on the floor of the house. It is there on the floor of the house that I helped this government by being.
By the time they captured you, were already a member of parliament?
No! 93, I was a young officer. I was actually sent on duty to popularize the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And they did that for the whole country. That is how the 1996 Children's Statute was enacted by NRC. I was the brain behind it.
So Konyi gave you 4 letters to bring?
There were 4 letters, which I brought to those people. And those 4 letters were the ones which initiated the first peace talks between the government and Joseph Kony.
Which Betty Bugombe was initiating?
Yes. And the first meeting was held on the outskirts of Gulu, the southern part of Gulu. You remember? And that meeting could not succeed at the end because President Museveni came up and said, if you don't agree to my terms, I will force you out of that forest with the force of gun. And that was how it happened. So, with all this sit and done, so I told Mama Babas, I am a Luo by origin. The Right Honorable Olanya, who is even in chair here, knows how I wish you called me an Acholi or a Sudanese, but not a Congolese. But for you, you're a Murundi. I told you, it is on the record. Say you're a Murundi. Your father was one of the workers of the first African Indian Missionary Society that he came from Burundi. And when they came here, they settled in Imparo Church of Uganda, in Ruchiga County. That time Ruchiga was a county, in Kabale district. And as the time went, your father got married to the sister of Dr. Runyarare, who was a minister in Oboti too, Minister for Culture and Community Development.
You're talking about Mama Mbabas?
Oh, yeah, it is on the record. He was there, the super minister. And I said, you have no relative on your father's side, on your Ugandan side. The relatives you have here are your maternal uncles. And I wound it by saying, I have a lot up my sleeves on you. Are you in order to refer to me? It's a Congolese warriors not. And the super minister was ruled out of order. And when we came out,
you laughed, of course.
We laughed, he hugged me, I hugged him. From that time, he will call me Congolese, I will call him Murundi. So when we came to visit him at the police station, they put him in an office. He was there drinking some juice.
The Murundi, the Congolese.
So when he saw me say, hey, Congolese, I said, Murundi, didn't I tell you that will be the victim? First victim, we laughed it off. So that is where the problem now started. So that law has been there. Very oppressive. Giving powers to police, which powers in law they don't have. And you know, for a fact, that many of the provisions of POMA have been outlawed by the Constitutional Court. But it is one thing outlawing something here, and it is another putting it into practice. I told you of how the problem in UPC was resolved by a ruling by Supreme Court, but what is on the ground? But what is happening on the ground is different.
Okay.
So I'm coming to it.
This you remember my question?
Yes. I remember.
I had given you 1 minute.
Very good. I've given you all that genealogy so that I can put it in context.
Okay.
So
now let's go straight to the
with all that now, we as a party, ANT, a party which went into elections in 2021 without having even access to the public. Because you remember when we got ourselves registered as a political party, the whole country went under lockdown of the COVID pandemic. And therefore we had no opportunity to reach out to the people to tell about ourselves as ANT. Now, with this law in place, we are still navigating. We have always, as a law-abiding citizens, cooperated with the police. Gone out in the field to tell the public about us. We have so far covered 29 districts. And in each of these 29 districts, we have covered a minimum of 10 sub-counties. Mobilizing the communities to see the ills of this country, to build the structures of this party. And I can tell you, we also have in a pipeline a program which will be taking out immediately after Easter, up to around June. And what will that be? That will be to give confidence to the public, to tell the public about our situation, who we are, what the situation, political situations in this country, and to build the structures for the party, so that it all works towards 2025, 26 general elections.
So you are, to be precise, you have just started building structures in preparation for 2026.
You know, for us, we are a long distance runner. Museveni, you see, first of all, let me tell you.
Museveni is the long distance runner.
Museveni is not a long, he's not. For Museveni, do you know this story of the hare and the chameleon?
Chameleon.
You know,
when you do like this, you look like a chameleon.
The chameleon, yes. You know that story?
Yeah.
Where they were asked to go into a running race. And the hare said, no, I'm a very fast person. I will defeat you. He said, no, yes, but I will also be able to defeat you. So as the hare took off, the chameleon jumped on the back of the hare. And as the hare reached this destination and was trying to sit down, the chameleon said, but don't sit on me, please. I'm here. I arrived here before you. So what President Museveni and his NRM government or party are doing, they are taking advantage of the local council positions.
The structures.
LUCs.
The structures.
The structures. And they believe the LUCs are theirs. And even right now we are asking ourselves, if these LUCs are really apolitical, with all these monies which are being spent uselessly, left, right, and center, why don't we use it for electing people in these positions, so that the political parties can also have a say and be able to mobilize their people to offer themselves to contest in those positions? President Museveni is not like the chameleon, knowing very well that it is strategized and is going to take advantage of that. So for us, when I call ourselves a long distance runner, we are not just looking only at the 2026 general elections. It's not about winning only. It's about leaving a permanent culture and structures on the ground, so that the future generation should be able to take, and the party should be able to. You are
busy inculcating the culture
of institutionalism, structures. See, yeah, and those are the roots of a party. They are the roots. Yes,
you have the capacity to do that, because that needs a lot of resources.
God willing,
a lot of human capital.
Yes, but at the same time, you as a member of the Fourth Estate, the media fraternity, we are engaging you, we are welcoming you into the struggle, because whatever you do through your institution also helps us. Look at a situation like religion. I can now talk that one without any fear or contradiction. Christianity and Islam. Where did these two religions start? Far away in the Middle East. Did you ever know for me, name Andrew, you're a Christian? Did you ever see that man called Jesus Christ? Did you ever see him? And by the time that the man started this religion, were you in existence? No, you were not in existence. Neither were you in the Middle East.
Then we started understanding.
So
I heard I am called Andrew.
Andrew
is for Christians.
Yes, but the issue is, who brought that idea that this one should be called Andrew and he becomes a Christian? This was the work of the apostles of Jesus. There were only 12, but through their works, the whole world is now Catholic or Christian. The same way through also Islam. Nabi Muhammad was only one person. Through his disciples, you go to Australia, people are talking Allah Akbar. Have they ever seen the man called Nabi Muhammad? No. So the works of the agents, the works of the apostles is what we now believe in. And that is the reason why I'm saying we are enlisting you as our disciple, as our apostle. If we go to a place, we talk to 300 people, 400 people in a sub-county, we expect those people to also cause a multiplier effect. Yes.
Multiplier effect.
Multiplier effect.
Should be a chain.
Kabisha. That's why I'm saying for us, we are a long distance runners.
Honorable.
And God willing, we shall be there.
2026 or 2051?
Don't worry, we shall be there.
Auntie, which year? You also have to think about how far are you from reaching there?
Let me tell you.
Just one statement.
The moment you go into an elective campaign context, you go to win. You don't go to fail.
So 2026 we may have a president.
So You know, I don't know when you were studying. I don't know which institution you went to. I was in Northcote Hall. I was the chairman of Northcote Hall. We have a slogan. We used to have a slogan. It is not in Sibirwa. We used to have a slogan. We either win or they lose. Which at the end is just the same thing.
2026.
We either win,
NP either
wins or they
NRM loses.
Yes.
Honorable Kassiano Wadri, former MP of Terego,
Arua Municipality.
and Arua Municipality, former chairman of COSASE.
No, I was chairman of Public Accounts Committee.
PAC.
I was chairman of Government Assurances and Implementation Committee. I was opposition chief whip.
And you are also, for some time, you were on behalf of Comrade
Latigo.
You
Yes,
were
I led the opposition.
led in Parliament.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, first of all, accepting to have this candid discussion. It's kind of a freestyle candid discussion, but very informative, I can tell you, and I'm very grateful for your time that you have accepted to attend this interview with Andrew Irumba. This is The Spy Television. Follow us on our social media platforms, The Spy Television, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG, and all on our social media platforms. We also have TikTok, The Spy, and Andrew Irumba. My name is Andrew Irumba Katusave, your speaker. This has been one-on-one with Honorable Kassiano Wadri, and I'm very sure that we have had a very interesting conversation here. I thank you so much, and I sign out.